Good morning. This series of videos is to help you scaffold music into your children's daily programs so that their musical intelligence, their ability and skill at manipulating musical sounds increases. We often hear that music is the universal language, and we approach music as if it's a language that can communicate ideas. We use language to communicate ideas, what I'm doing right now, communicating words or communicating ideas through the words. And largely I'm improvising, it's not written anywhere, I have some notes, but I'm improvising exactly what you're hearing. I'm not reading it, it's improvisation. And ultimately, if your brain is manipulating the patterns of sound in a musical way, you should be able to improvise at the drop of a hat. There are not many who can, not even professionally trained musicians. There is a connection, we think, between oral language and the musical language. And research has tried to connect the two through correlation studies. There is a loose correlation between phonemic awareness and a child's ability to hear tonal patterns and rhythmic patterns. And yet we don't know if one causes the other or one can influence the other. We just know that they're related. So if we want to increase children's ability to hear patterns, oral patterns, patterns of language, patterns of sound, patterns of pitch, patterns of rhythm, then we need to proceed in an explicit way. And this is what I propose for you in watching these videos, is to proceed in an explicit way. I'm sure you use music throughout the day. Typically we use them in transitions, we use them as whole group activities, energizers, calm down moments when the kids are all frazzled. And these activities are largely what we would call acculturation. They're not specific to learning about music. It's just music in their environment, which is fine, and to a point we need to move on. And what I'm proposing here is that we're moving on from the typical acculturation activities that you probably do right now to a great success. In acculturation activities, the idea is that we're getting the sounds in the children's head. The sounds of language, the sounds of music. And as you know, language has a head start. Because language, we play with language as adults with our children. And yet we don't necessarily play with musical patterns. Music and language are similar in that they have patterns. In language, spoken language, written language, there are patterns of letters that we call words. In a musical language, there are patterns of rhythms, ba, 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 which is a duple pattern, or bum, ba, bum, ba, 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 bum, which is another duple pattern, or bum, 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 bee, da, dum, bum, bum, ba, which is a 5 pattern. And then there are patterns of pitches. Bum bum bum, bum bum bum, bum 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 bum, bum bum bum. And it was a pattern of a 1 chord, if you know about music. Then there was a 4 chord, a 5 chord, and back to 1. So pitches can be arranged into a harmonic vocabulary. And what we want to do with children is help them understand those patterns by listening first. And this is where you come in so importantly in their education. There is no possible way that I, as a trained musician, am going to give the children the number of repetitions with the sounds of music, even though the hills are alive, that you can in your daily classroom. And that's why you are important. Take, for example, an early childhood simple song, the Itsy Bitsy Spider. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout. Again, that last note is so important. That's what we would call tonic or home tone. In that song, The Itsy Bitsy Spider, what was the most important thing? It's probably the last word of every line. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. The itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. So we have rhyming words. It's the rhyming words that are important. It's not necessarily the music. The music is nice, and the kids have a good time, but it's really the rhyming words. We use music for rhyming words, to express, to help them understand that words rhyme. And sometimes I say that music tends to be this spoonful of sugar in our phonemic awareness arsenal of strategies. And yet, music can be much more than simply a spoonful of sugar. And we're going to discuss how that, or I'm going to show you how that happens. My theory is that what children need is to be better listeners in general. To be orally, on the spot, listening very carefully to all sounds around them. Not simply the letter sounds or the sounds of music, but all sounds. And when they do, they can become better observers and learners. And what is a scientist? Here's an interesting thing to think about. What is a scientist? A scientist is a good observer. Think about that. Someone who makes a discovery probably did a lot of observing, thinking, and observing. Scientists observe different reactions. Observation is critical to learning in all disciplines. And it can begin in music as well. So if music is connected to language, it's in the power of the child's mind to hone the skill of critical observation. Observing, oh, that melody didn't go there, or this rhythm didn't do that. When a child can do that, then the child will be able to better determine if the word is a k, or a sh, or a ch, or a sh, or a p, or a d. This is where we're headed. The goal of this video and all 4 videos in this series is to help you move beyond musical acculturation, beyond that warm and fuzzy, which is great, we want warm and fuzzy, but there's more to it, and yet there's more to it than being warm and fuzzy. Moving beyond simple musical acculturation and moving toward critical listening. And this can occur at a very young age, and research in music education has borne this out. This series of videos is going to help you answer one of 3, let me get 3 fingers up there, I'll do it this way, 3 things. First, you might ask, what can I do with the songs and chants and rhymes and poems that I'm already using? What I bring to you is not another list of things to do, but a way to approach what you already do. It's not the quantity of stuff that we engage in, it's the quality of our engagements. What I'm giving you, or what ideas I will give you, can be used with any song, rhyme, chant, or poem. There's no silver bullet there. It's an approach. You may ask, what can I do to help students' listening skills with the simple songs I already use? Again, the simple songs you use in your classroom are fine. Use those because it's comfortable. You're going from the known to the unknown, from the simple to the complex. Far too often, We load people down with complex, and we never allow them time to take what they do well and just make it a little cooler. Do what you do and just make it a little cooler. That's all we're asking. And finally, and this is probably going to be most of the people who watch this video, what do I do if I can't sing? What do I do if I know I can't sing or think I can't sing, or people who tell me, honey, you can't sing? There are things that you can do that do not require the voice, the singing voice. And when I'm talking about singing, I'm not talking about woo, being a Metropolitan Opera star. Just a nice, lovely voice. Research tells us, Sandra Treehub has done a lot of research, and she's from the University of Toronto. Her research suggests that it isn't necessarily the quality of the voice that matters, it's that human contact that children need. Because the voice is something that is part of you, the mere fact of singing brings closer bonds between mother, father, and child. It's a way of bonding. Singing is another form of bonding. So those are the three questions. What can I do with what I already know in chants, rhymes, poems? What can I do with the simple songs that we already do in class? And 3, what can I do if I can't hold a tune in a bucket? This set of videos is going to show you those 3 things.